the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATM.
Telling him not to counterpunch.
Basketball Africa has a new chief executive coming for all of Paris Olympics team, and we have for football Arsenal dropping 2 points on the night, and we hope that it will be for which they will not regret. And yes, very bad. This of this
Telling him not to counterpunch.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas season! Hooray! A time to make merry with loved ones, a time to give thanks, and a time to be a blessing. May your holiday season be filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful moments. From all of us in Morrison Communications Limited, Wish 99.5 FM and Atlantic Television Network, we wish you a Merry Christmas full of amazing experiences. Cheers to a beautiful year end.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas season! Hooray! A time to make merry with loved ones, a time to give thanks, and a time to be a blessing. May your holiday season be filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful moments. From all of us in Morrison Communications Limited, Wish 99.5 FM and Atlantic Television Network, we wish you a Merry Christmas full of amazing experiences. Cheers to a beautiful year end.
Welcome back. It's Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. On this edition of the program, I have with me Tempo. Tempo, nice to have you.
Such a delightful day, and the weekend is here. I was so glad to be here, Mr. Sir. Good morning.
Well, what a weekend because it is one which is leading with a lot of sporting activities. But first, let's look at what's happening from the world of boxing, where the interim president of the Nigerian Boxing Federation, Azani Omogigi, has reacted to recent celebratory boxing fight between two Nigerian superstars. This fight, of course,
A lot of people came out to watch this one, and they went home all smiling because, yes, it's a celebrity show, but it lived up to the expectation from Charles Nwokocha and then Mr. Portable.
well, novelty boxing, that's what I will call it. And just all in a bit to wrap up the season. We know that after Christmas, there was the Boxing Day, and we saw some kind of novelty introduced into boxing here in Nigeria. But away from novelty, Anthony Joshua's profile after taking out his opponent Watlin seemed to be on the rise, and a lot of people know that with Joshua's profile rising, one man who had his profile suffer some dent is Deontay Wilder. Remember, Deontay Wilder lost in that bout on the same night in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Obviously, I mean, the ranking is very important at this point. I know that Anthony Joshua will really get a lot going in for him, especially as the year comes to an end. And with that now, he's been ranked high as compared, though maybe not compared to the likes of Usyk and I mean, a lot of people felt that does not deserve and also dropped him. We haven't seen Usyk, fight in recent time, so it's difficult to really judge him. But if you judge him for rankings, but it's difficult to really, say that Usyk has fallen because you have not seen him fight for the last 1 year. So we'll just keep our finger crossed and see how far. But I think that Usyk deserves every accolade that comes his way now. Until we get to see that fight between him and Tyson Fury, one can never really tell what will happen.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed because heavyweight boxing is taking a rest until maybe early next year when we return back to Saudi Arabia for another series of boxing event. Away from boxing, let's go to tennis. And in tennis, Iga Swiatek only yesterday said she's learned a lot about herself this year and hopes to continue her form as she returned to the world #1 ranking. In a dramatic end to the year, she somehow faltered. It looked as if she was not going to end the year as the world #1. But eventually, she was able to bounce back ahead of the Australian Open and, of course, the Olympic Games that is on the rise.
Yeah, it's good for Iga Swiatek. I mean, this year she had mixed performance this year. She started like house on fire as world #1 early this year, lost it at some point to Aryna Sabalenka. Her form diminished. She was unable to get past the third round of any competition, especially after losing that particular one to Aryna Sabalenka. But then at the tail end of the year, she came back bouncing, started winning some. She came back bouncing, started winning some little Masters series and all that, and that really ensured that she was in the midst to get her hands again on the WTA final, which she won in grand style against Jessica Pegula. So for me, I think that she has shown resilience. She's one player that in the past 3-4 years, you want to say that she has been there and she understands what being a world #1 is. I mean, you look at you want to compare and contrast her efforts. She has held that position for a very long time as compared to Aryna Sabalenka, who was shaky, when she became world #1. So I think that her experience is very growing. She's still a young lad at 24, but look at how she's been able to go past her compatriot and maybe even her those contending strongly with her. So for me, I think that Iga Swiatek is building up on the experience. They have a competition tomorrow, and it's about her countryman Hubatukas and all that. So a lot to be in for next season. And her thinking is she wants to win the Paris Olympic Games. Can she do that? We'll keep our finger crossed and maybe we'll wait till the time comes.
Well, the Paris Olympic Games is here and any moment soon next year in Paris. And besides that, the Australian Open gets underway in the very second week of January 2024. And talking about the Australian Open reminds me that Rafael Nadal is already in Australia preparing for the Australian Open. Is it, do I say, early comer to the party?
Early comer, but I think that much will not be expected from him. Yes, his experience will tell. We are yet to know the state of his injury. We hear that everything is fine now. But I tell you for sure that when the competition gets underway, it's difficult because if you have not played a competitive game, you may not really test yourself to prove how far you can go. Training is different from competition, and for us, we just know that sometimes this man can really, do the unthinkable. We saw what he did by winning in Melbourne last 2 years, so maybe coming back to winning this year. But this time around, he's going to have a stiff competition because Akaras will be there, and so it will not be as rosy. And in the last 5 years, whenever Novak Djokovic is there, it's difficult to really get your hands, take that one away from him. So we'll keep our finger crossed and see how far. But one thing certain is that I don't expect him to go all out. I will be surprised if he gets to the semi-finals of the Australian Open. But I love the momentum, I love the vibe, and I'm sure that the organizers of the Australian Open are also loving what is happening. They want to see the biggest of names, coming to a tournament, and when you see the likes of Rafael Nadal as one of the early comers, it does tells you how lovely the Australian Open will pan out.
Australian Open gets underway in the next couple of weeks from now, and we already have an early arrival in Australia, Rafael Nadal, but we'll see how he will contend with big names like Novak Djokovic, world #1. in male tennis. But still bringing you tennis latest this Jessica Pegula, remember the American, is of opinion that the 2024 season is arriving too early, like we mentioned there. Novak Djokovic, Rafa is already in Australia for the new season, which is the first Grand Slam Australian Open. But world number 5 in the female category, Jessica Pegula believes that the season is arriving too early, maybe an aftermath of very busy 2023.
I agree. I think yeah, the 2023 was really packed full because she was also contending strongly. We saw how she excellently achieved a whole lot this season too. Although she's yet to clinch a penny of the Grand Slam, but take nothing for granted, she's one of those outstanding stars. And then just after the WTA and other series, they're already preparing for the Australian Open. So for them, it looks like I mean it's going too fast. That at the time when they want to rest to prepare for the Australian Open, the year is already in, and they will be preparing for this weekend, the showdown. So I agree with her, but then you already know that this is how the calendar it will be fixed, and so you just plan yourself in that direction. This weekend is another crunchy time for them before they will now go for the preseason tournament ahead of the Australian Open. So no time to rest, but I feel that the little rest they've had should count for something.
Well, let's stay away from tennis now and go to basketball. And the basketball, the latest is coming from the continent of Africa, where the NBA has a new chief executive officer. In America. This is very sharing. We talked about having the NBA Africa in the past, and now it is taking root, and now with a new chief operating officer, a new chief executive officer, a politician, and of course a businesswoman.
Yeah, it's lovely to know that the new CEO of NBA Africa is now a woman, and of course you've read out some of her, you cited some of her profile there, and it's good to also see that for them to have come to have chosen the woman, it means that there are a lot. It was not just an easy one. Strongly contended for, but then they feel that she is the best at standing to handle the activities of basketball. And this is judging from what she was able to do when she was in the Rwandan private sector. She has this managerial acumen that has transcended a lot within the Rwandan economy, and they also feel that she has also aided Rwanda when it comes to basketball activities. So when you look at those CVs, you cannot jettison it. And so I think the partnership will be fine with Tattoo, who is already there, Mike Tattoo, who is also to help the development of basketball across the continent. And that's what Akamanzi, will bring to the table. She will also foster economic growth when it comes to basketball, and also see that we have more talent, more export of talent, to the NBA. So I think that she is the best as it stands now. Yes, she might be a female, but she understands the workings of basketball more than a lot of person would think. Doncic and Jokic, these two players this season, I think that they've really done a whole lot for themselves. And for Jokic, we saw what he did last season with the Denver Nuggets. He was a star man. He already, this players showcase club. But then I think the partnership with Nikola Jokic is one that is very outstanding, and there's no surprise why they dismantled Memphis Grizzlies in that encounter. They played at home, and it was a nice one for them.
Very nice one for Nikola Jokic. Like I mentioned to you, he had a triple-double in that fixture, and his entire career. This is 116. It is getting interesting. Enyimba International is beginning to show their intent of climbing to the top on the Nigerian Premier League table. When we return for it, we'll give you details. Don't forget, Arsenal are now 2 points behind leaders, Liverpool. When we come from the break, you get all of the details.
From the line, we bring on sport news in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
telling him not to counterpunch.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas season! Hooray! A time to make merry with loved ones, a time to give thanks, and a time to be a blessing. May your holiday season be filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful moments. From all of us in Morrison Communications Limited, amazing experiences. Cheers to a beautiful year end.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas season! Hooray! A time to make merry with loved ones, a time to give thanks, and a time to be a blessing. May your holiday season be filled with joy, laughter, and beautiful moments. From all of us in Morrison Communications Limited, Wish 99.5 FM and Atlantic Television Network, we wish you.
Welcome back. It's Sports Talk here on the Atlantic Television Network, and we are going to the second half of the program. And we start in football this time around, and it has to be the Nigerian Professional Football League, where after match day 15, and we saw several goals scored, especially in the last night. 21 goals were scored, 1 away win, 1 draw, and of course 8 home wins. There, it looks traditional to find many teams win at home. But let's focus on the away win, and it had to come with from the Samson Siasia Stadium in Yenigua, where Enyimba was the away team to Bayelsa United. It ended 2-1 after 90 minutes plus at the time.
Yeah, after 90 minutes plus at the time, I think Enyimba Football Club did so well in that encounter. It was a very tricky one. First half it ended goalless, and surprising how Enyimba, came to win that game. I had expected Bayelsa United to hold their defense strongly. More like Miriam Okara, the coach of the side, who stood in for Dipri, said it looks like they have enough going, for them. But then Enyimba, with the experience, finished the job, the players came to the party, grabbed that winner, and then showed that all 3 points. With that, now that has catapulted them now from where they are now to 4th on the log. So for me, Enyimba, they know their traditional side don't understand the leagues. More for me at this point now, Bayelsa United will look back and say, okay, we are in the relegation zone because we cost it. Some games you shouldn't lose at home, and we saw that display yesterday. I think that game is a game that they would have grabbed the point, but then they lost concentration. They had penalty that was missed, but then it's one of those things we see in the league.
There's a return of Chiyoko Mboma. Do you think this is?
Chiyoko Mboma is always a fine player. He's one player who knows how to score. He's Enyimba himself, because at some point when every hope is gone, he's just a maximum kind of put that in. And Enyimba, it looked like a team
3 points away. Result. We talked about the only fixture that produced an away win. Bayelsa losing at home. Enyimba as the away side there. We had 8 home wins, and them was at the Cathedral. That's at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Nugu. Fixtures are not taking place there because of renovation work that started playing. This was the first match, and the joyous fans of Rangers International couldn't hold back because their team scored 2 goals past their traditional rivals, 3 Stars of Ibadan.
Yeah, for shooting stars, I mean, getting to away from home, I know that to be a Herculean task because this is the first time that we're going to see Enugu Rangers, play at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium after 2 years plus. And the stadium has been refurbished, the environment has been clean. We saw that stadium is a 27,000 capacity. So I spoke with the coach yesterday and the media officer, and they explained that they needed to win that game. We heard that 27,000 stadium capacity fans trooped into that particular one. And if we have 7,000 at the cathedral, you forget that in the 80s and the 90s, that used to be a traditional ground, a slaughter ground for Enugu Rangers. And I think that we are getting to see them rejuvenate when it comes to getting back results. I'm very impressed with what they did yesterday. The effort of Amobi Ezaku, the new manager of the side, is not in vain because gradually we can see the way they play. And when you have a man like Fidelity Lochiku, who said that their target is to get a continental ticket, it looks like they're going to achieve it this season. Although they fought out, but coming back home now, for me, I'm loving the way things are panning out at the cathedral. I just hope that they can consolidate and make that place a fortress for them.
Gombe United, one of the teams that have put in a decent result in recent, has been halted. Those decent results have been halted because Abia Warriors yesterday beat them by 3-1. Harland SC had the same scoreline, beating Remo Stars by 3-1. And this is a very cheering result especially for Kennedy Boboye, the embattled coach of Harland FC. We understand that the governor of Imo State have asked that there should be the return of Christian Obi, and meaning that Kennedy Boboye, you have to give way. But what a parting way of leaving the team, helping to beat top team like Remo Stars by 3-1. We understand after the interview, he has done so well. He's trying to steer the club from relegation. And that Christian Obi might just return the team deep into relegation.
And that's it. That's it. I mean, yesterday, while the fans were very ecstatic about the result, I think that it was not a good one at all because it also did not. It ended on a sour note for them because the number one season of
Jos, it was 2-1 in favor of Caterpillars against Kwara United. Katsina United beat Aqua by 1-0. And Epo, we had one just a score draw yesterday, and it was at the Dokia Mercy Maker Stadium where it was Rivers United won, and the visitors from Benin Insurance scored 1.
It took the magnificent display from Yuma Omagba, to restore parity for Rivers United, as they would have lost that game. Remember last season when the Benin Arsenals are rolling on an unbeaten run. I think 19 game unbeaten run. They're about 20-something game unbeaten run. It was Rivers United at home here who stopped them from the unbeaten run, and his boys knew what they wanted. They went in for a win, but then they were complacent at some point in the second half, and Rivers United were able to grab that equalizer. I think it was a game of chance, and both sides really utilized that chance. Unfortunately, both sides too were very defensive minded, and we saw that clearly.
Well, let's hope that Rivers United will do all they can. They have about 4 outstanding fixtures in the Premier League, where their position right now is not too good. They are just slightly above relegation, and they need to win those 4 games. We discussed about it yesterday at the stadium. They have 5 outstanding games, 4 away and 1 at home, and now they've dropped points at home. The 4 away games, we know Rivers United to be very poor travelers in the Nigerian Professional Football League.
Poor travelers indeed, and I think that they need to really do so well. They have 5 outstanding matches. If they play those outstanding matches and they get to win, it will be very glorious for them. But outstanding matches are not a point in the bag. So
the reinstatement of Kennedy Boboye and not Christian Obi.
It's not easy. I mean, the fans came out in their numbers to sing praises of what the man has done. And after the interview, the fans openly, as a way of passing an indirect message to the governor and those who pays the piper, saying that they do not want Obi. And I'm beginning to see how it will be, because the reception already, I mean, if the fans are not with you, it's difficult for you to have a smooth environment. So making it already look like they don't truly want him, and the fans have decided. The fans leadership came out in a mass to really express concern, and you can see the chanting that we want Boboye, we want Kennedy Boboye. I tell you for sure that I haven't seen such in recent time in the Nigerian Premier Football League where if the fans will all come out, and that ensure that we saw the tears for him himself.
Talking about the emotional presentation, we saw one like last night in Lagos where Asisa Adoshola, of course, remember her Africa's best footballer in the female category in the year 2023, presented an award given to her by CAF to President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Olorunmi Tinubu in Lagos. Epo, this is a very touching ceremony where the president had to receive the African Women Footballer of the Year for 2023, Asisa Adoshola.
Yeah, this is the retired period. Players come back home to enjoy the holiday with their families, and it's a period. A few weeks ago, she won this particular one. She needs to come back. We saw the novelty games, in her honor. We also saw the competition hosted, in her honor, the Agbabola competition and all that. It's been wonderful. Bafemi Martins came along, and then from there she's been having courtesy visits.
As most winner of the CAF Women Footballer of the Year. This is her 6th time of winning the award, and what a way to honor, especially as one of the players going to Ivory Coast for Cameroon.
I think that he's influencing the decision of the coach, just saying bring this player. I think it's a good choice because regardless of all that has happened with Manchester United and how he has considered a lot of goals, he's still the best player. The best goalkeeper playing week in week out for Manchester United. Such a player you cannot avoid bringing him to the national team because he sees game in the English Premier League, which adjudged to be the best league in the world. Why won't you bring him to play for his national side? So I think that it's good that he's back now. Let's hope that he will use his wealth of experience to help his side. It's one thing to play for club side, the other is to play for national team. I think that all that has happened is now in the past. They should focus on what to achieve come 13th of January next year in Ivory Coast.
Talking about what to achieve, the South African national team as well has named their 27-man squad going to Ivory Coast, but there has been a notable absentee. Leslie Foster, of course, played for Burnley just a few hours ago against Liverpool, but he's been absent from the squad. He's reported to have had mental issues and some kind of recovery, but now he played just about 12 hours ago against Liverpool. Players have been invited to camp in Abidjan. Latest to arrive, Victor Osimhen.
Yeah, Osimhen has arrived, and I saw the joy yesterday when we were welcoming him from the airport. He landed and he said he wanted to have some time with his family before he now. Camp opens today officially, and in Abu Dhabi, and massive preparation for that one. So let's see how it up and up. But I think that he will be flying in with, this weekend. On the 4th, it's expected that the list of the Super Eagles should be out. For us to know those that were playing in the African Cup of Nations. Very tight list there, so every player will have to jostle for a t-shirt, a shirt there in the starting lineup. 44
or 40 players or so are expected to be in Abu Dhabi with 2 friendly games lined up, and thereafter the official list of those going to the Nations Cup will be released. We hope that Coach Pesero will do just what Nigerians want, go with the crack intrigues, because Arsenal players at the Emirates Stadium are expected to at least cement their position on the top of the Premier League table, but that didn't happen because they lost to a fellow London side, West Ham, by 2-0, and by that defeat, Arsenal now dropped to the 2nd place position with the 2 points difference between them with the top place side, Liverpool. I don't expect massive pressure, but everybody would have wanted Arsenal. A lot of Arsenal fans would have wanted that their team should be on top of the log when the season ends. But if you look at the way things are going, I don't think that any team is that will be any invisibility as for losing. But I never expected Arsenal to lose at home yesterday, and they played very well. It was almost the same team that played the last. Do not translate to goals. If it was ball possession, then Arsenal had all of it. But like you mentioned, there are 2 chances coming from West Ham, and the London side took them, and that was all that mattered. And 3 points went with them back to West Ham. In the other fixture we saw last night in the Premiership in England, it was Brighton that at the stage were leading Tottenham Hotspur by 4-0, but at the end of 90 minutes plus added time, it did turn out to be 4-2. What is happening to Tottenham Hotspur?
It's just one of those games. Let's not be surprised when we see things like this. Because the outrageous scoreline for me was just the only surprise there. I expected Tottenham Hotspur. When you travel to Seahawks Park, you don't think that that would be an easy match for you at all. I expect Ange Postecoglou.
Player from England, Jude Bellingham, is in the news because he's been crowned as the